Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Our today's video is about CSWIP 3.1 leading question answers, and I have made several video on CSWIP 3.1 question answer which you can find in playlist. So we'll start with today's video. Our first question is: a fillet weld has an actual throat thickness of 8 mm. The actual throat thickness is 8 mm and leg length is 7 mm. What is the excess weld metal? So it is asking what will be the excess weld metal. It is very simple. First you have to calculate the design throat, and you can minus the actual throat from the design throat to get the excess weld metal. So how we can calculate the design throat? The theoretical throat or design throat can be calculated by using the formula 0.7 into Z. Here in the question they have mentioned the leg length. Leg length is Z. So multiplying 0.7 to 7. Leg length is 7 mm. So if you will multiply 0.7 to 7 here, if you will multiply 0.7 into 7, you will get 4.9. 4.9 is the design throat thickness. But the actual throat is 8 mm. So if you will subtract 8 mm to 4.9 mm. 8 mm is the actual throat thickness and 4.9 is the design throat thickness. So if you subtract 8 mm to 4.9 mm, you will get the actual excess weld metal. So the excess weld metal is 3.1 mm. Correct answer is option C, 3.1 mm. Now question number 1a. With reference to the previous question and the correct answer, if this excess weld metal was removed, the fillet weld would be a. Now it is saying that if you will remove the excess weld metal, then what kind of fillet weld will be there? For that we will first understand the types of fillet weld. See, there will be three types of fillet weld. One is miter fillet weld, second one is convex fillet weld, and third one is concave fillet weld. In miter fillet weld, there will be no excess weld metal. As you can see here, there will be no excess weld metal. So leg length will be equal, and the throat which you will get the actual throat, that is theoretical throat, that is 0.7 into Z. Exactly same throat will be there in miter fillet weld. However, in convex fillet weld, this is the most general type of fillet weld which you will see in the industry. There will be some additional excess weld metal. This is the amount of excess weld metal. This is the excess weld metal which we will get in the convex fillet weld. And the concave fillet weld, the throat will be equal to the design throat, but the geometry of the fillet weld will be like this in convex natures. So these are the three types of convex fillet weld. Now the question is, if you will remove the excess weld metal, means consider the convex fillet weld, and from convex fillet weld, if you will remove this entire excess weld metal, then what it will become? It will become a miter fillet weld. It will become a miter fillet weld. So the answer will be C, miter fillet weld. Before moving forward, friends, I would request you to please join my channel if you have not done it yet. Joining is very simple and very easy. You can do it. So this will encourage me to work more for you. Now question number 2, compound fillet welds. So what is compound fillet weld? Option A is given. Option A is always contain full penetration butt weld. Option B is joints which always have combination of welds made by different welding processes. Option C is combinations between two different weld types, and option D is all of the above. So friends, compound fillet welds are those type of fillet welds in which there will be combination of two type of weld. Means there will be groove weld and there will be fillet weld, both types. So the answer will be combination between two different weld types. And what type of weld will be there? First one will be the groove weld. Here you can see bevel weld is written. Bevel is nothing but the groove. A groove is made in here. A groove has been made and the groove weld has been done. So first there will be groove weld, and then there will be fillet weld. So combination of two types of weld, groove weld and fillet weld, will be called as compound fillet weld. Now of question 2a, with reference to the previous question and the correct answer, what would be the typical bevel angle for a compound fillet weld? Friends, I was not quite sure about the answer, but in CSWIP book they have mentioned this thing, means for angle of bevel, and if it is a single V preparation, see option 3, if it is a single bevel preparation, single bevel, then the degree of bevel will be 40 to 50 degree, between 40 to 50 degree if it's a single bevel. And here in compound fillet weld there will be single bevel only. So from my point of view, the answer will be between 40 degree to 50 degree. So I think the most appropriate will be 40 degree. Now again, I would request you to please join my channel if you have not done it yet. Question number 3. In an arc welding process, which of the following is the correct term used for the amount of weld metal deposited per hour? So amount of weld metal deposited per hour is very simple. It is called as deposition rate. Amount of weld metal which is deposited into the weld pool is called as deposition rate. Question number 3a, with reference to the previous question and the correct answer, how it is measured? So it is measured in terms of kilogram per hour. How much kilogram weld metal has been deposited per hour is called as deposition rate. Option B is the correct answer. Now question number 4. ISO 17637 and 4 options are given. So option A is the minimum light illumination required for visual inspection is 350 lux. The minimum light, option B is the minimum light illumination required for visual inspection is 500 lux. Option C is the minimum light illumination required for the visual inspection is 600 lux at not less than 30 degree. And option D is does not specify any viewing condition for visual inspection. So ISO 17637 has very clearly specified the conditions for visual inspection, and it says that the minimum light should be 350 lux, but at the same time they have recommended that it should be more than 500. See how it has written that the minimum illumination here, illumination should be 350 lux, but recommends minimum 500 lux, means 500 lux is what they have recommended, but if you will go strictly by the criterion, then that is 350 lux, means you cannot go beyond less than 350 lux. However, they have recommended if possible then go more than 500 lux. So the option A will be the correct answer, that the criteria is minimum light illumination required, it should be 350 lux only. However, the recommendation is to go more than 500. So option A is the correct answer. Now with reference to the previous question, what else ISO 17637 state about visual inspection? So the second criteria is that the maximum distance between your eye and the job which you are inspecting shall be 600 mm, and the viewing angle should be more than 30 degree. So 600 maximum distance, not more than that, and the viewing angle minimum 30 degree. Let's see the options. Option A is minimum distance 60 mm, that is wrong. Option B is maximum distance should be 600 mm, magnification between 10 to 20 times. So what should be the magnification? The magnification should be between 2 to 5. So this first point is correct, that the maximum distance should be 600 mm, but the second point criteria is wrong, which is written 10 to 20 times. The maximum magnification range should be 2 to 5 times. We'll see the second option C. Here maximum distance 600 mm, that is correct, and the magnification is between 2 to 5. So it is matching exactly our criteria. So option C is the correct answer. Maximum distance 600 mm and the magnification between 2 to 5 mm. Now question number 5. Which of the following steels is considered non-magnetic? So non-magnetic steel, austenitic stainless steels are always considered non-magnetic magnetic, and option A, that is 18% chromium and 8% nickel, is austenitic stainless steel, which is non-magnetic. If you want to learn more about this, let me tell you that 18% chrome and 8% nickel resembles with uh, 304 SS304 type. Now option B, question 5a. With reference to the previous question and the correct answer, which of the following material is listed? Which of the following material listed is austenitic? So which of the following below four options austenitic? So let me tell you that option C, that is 316L. 316L is an austenitic stainless steel. We'll see other options also. See, 9% nickel, 9% nickel will be called as nickel steel and it is used for cryogenic applications. 2.25 chrome and 1% moly is low alloy ferritic steel, and the correct answer, that was 316L, is on austenitic stainless steel. Austenitic stainless steel always start with the prefix 3, and S355 is an structural carbon steel ferritic. So the correct answer is SS316L. Friends, I would again request you to please join my channel if you have not done it yet. And I would also request you to please give your valuable feedback and suggestions. Thank you very much.